Hello and welcome to Figuring It Out, new series by ONWARD Productions. I'm Ganel-Lyn and I'm so grateful to have these few minutes together. I think in my mind, I'm going to keep it to figuring it out in 15, because in 15 minutes, I want to share messages with you over the next few weeks and months that will help both of us as we're trying to figure things out. I was thinking the other day about how much has changed since I was in college as I've watched my son, who's 22 and at BYU and trying to figure it out, that I used to think there would be a point in my life where I would get there. Like I would figure it out. Like if I hit this age, I would figure it out. And I'm almost 50 and I haven't figured it out. I'm still figuring it out. And so first and foremost, I just want to give you permission that if you find yourself in a season of life where you're wrestling, where you're questioning, where you're not sure, where you're challenging what maybe you grew up believing, that you're in a safe place here. And that each time we come together, I hope that I can share with you some thoughts that will strengthen and invite you to draw closer to God, because He is so mindful of you and He is so interested and excited for your future. I have a friend right now going through a faith crisis, and we were trying to think of another word for it. And finally, he and I just decided faith crisis. But that conversation led to a further conversation, and he ended up guesting on one of my episodes of The Middle, and he happens to be my camera guy. And I host a couple of shows, and one of my shows is on the Saints Unscripted channel, and it's called The Middle. And so Jake came on the yellow couch and we had a conversation about a faith crisis. And at the end of that conversation, at the end of many conversations I've had with him as we've worked together, I've realized that I trust people that have gone through a faith crisis, that have wrestled, that have struggled. They are my faith friends that I turn to when I'm struggling and I'm wrestling, because they've been there. They've been on the field. They've asked the hard questions. They've wrestled with things that they don't have answers for. They've sat in the paradoxes of life. My LGBT friends are some of my great faith friends because they sit in paradoxes with sexual identity and gender identity. I have faith friends that are middle-aged moms and grandmas and grandpas. I have faith friends that are much younger than me that are just starting out, figuring out newly married life or in college and home from missions. I have faith friends that are even younger than that. And I hope that together as we meet, that the Spirit will guide and direct us as we figure it out together. So today, my message for you is figuring it out and staying till the 13. I had an opportunity on my show, The Middle, to interview Burgess Owens. He's running for Congress, but he also played in the NFL. He grew up in the Deep South as a Black man during the KKK and Jim Crow laws. And he has an amazing conversion story. He has an amazing story. When we sat down to talk, I just was so inspired. And he has a great teaching that I'm going to share that he taught me. And it really was such a good example. He shared this idea, this principle that you need to stick through the 12 seasons for the 13th season. He played for the New York Jets. I think they were the New York Jets at the time. And they lost. And they lost a lot. And he was almost about to quit the NFL. He was traded and was with the Raiders. And he was about to quit the NFL because he had had 12 losing seasons. And he was frustrated and tired of losing. He was tired of feeling like a failure. And he stuck it through to one more season. And that's when they went to the Super Bowl. I absolutely got to wear the Super Bowl ring that Burgess Owens has. And I'll probably share that on my social media accounts as soon as I have that to share. But I love that idea of sticking it through the 12 losing seasons. And he says that the biggest lessons he learned were during those losing seasons, that he wouldn't have traded all of those 12 seasons for the 13th season when he won. But how often do we quit right before the miracle? I love the idea of, especially with regarding mental health and suicide prevention, which, if you know me, I talk about that a lot, that we have to stick through it. We have to have that sense of resilience about it, about life, about our faith, about our family relationships, about our health, about our mental health, about our schooling, about our faith specifically. That so often we quit right before the miracle. And I love that Burgess is saying through experiences that all the hard stuff he made it through, and that he's made it through. He had 2 bankruptcies and a divorce, that all of those hard times are really the gift. That's where he's learned the most. And that's made the miracle even sweeter. I know for my own life that there are times where I just feel weary. I just want answers. Things aren't making sense. I'm reading something about church history, or I'm struggling with a relationship in my life, or my health isn't working the way I want, or I'm in comparisons because my definition of success isn't measuring up in my mind of what I expected and hope for and work for. Whatever it is that you may be trying to figure out right now, I want you to consider the idea that we stick it through those 12 seasons for the 13th season, that our miracles are coming. You may have heard me talk about the fact that the woman with the issue of blood brought me so much comfort after my sister Meg died by suicide. I turn to her story often in the scriptures as I thought about and have wrestled with this idea of figuring it out and sticking it through the 12 losing seasons. She literally wrestled for nearly 13 years. And the scriptures say that everything she tried, not only did she not get better, she got worse. What made her try that one more time, to go out to the street, to reach out, to touch the Savior? And as she touched just the hem of his robe, he turned to her and he knew her. He knew her struggles personally. And he said, "Your faith hath made thee whole." What faith, my friends? You may hear that word all the time, tossed around in Come Follow Me and in church and in Sunday school and seminary and in mission prep. But faith really is a messy process of figuring it out. It's not knowing. It's not checking all the boxes, having all the answers, having this solid knowing about anything. It's a wrestle. It's messy. And so, as our friend Burgess Owens has taught, stay with it till season 13. Your season 13 is coming. I testify of that. And my season 13 is coming. Just because I'm almost 50 doesn't mean I figured it all out. And I hope that you will, here on the Onward page and in other areas where you try to find and seek out for faith, for enrichment, for support, that you will take the example of our sister in the scriptures who kept trying her plan B because plan A didn't work. And even though everything she tried, she got worse, she didn't give up. What if 2 weeks before the Savior had walked through the road that day, she had said, "Forget it. All my friends have had their miracles. All my friends have had their Super Bowl wins, but I keep showing up in the losing season." What if she had said, "I'm done with the losing and I'm checking out of this fight. I'm walking off the field"? What if she had done that? Instead, she showed up. And I know she was likely very lonely. She felt very isolated because her issue of blood, culturally speaking, meant that she stayed away from others. Maybe you're feeling similar. Maybe you're feeling like, Ganel-Lyn, my 13th season never seemed, I'm on season 20. I'm on season 25. Well, in the words of Elder Holland, I would just like to say to you that your miracle is coming. Sometimes miracles come now, sometimes they come later, he says, but they always come. Sometimes in this life and sometimes in the life to come, but they do come. And I testify that is true. Your greatest gifts are coming in those 12 losing seasons. So I hope you're journaling, and I hope you're looking around for examples of faith. Maybe it's finding this episode of fighting through and figuring it out that will help you fight through and keep trying to figure it out. Maybe you're trying to figure out some really complex issues. What I'll tell you is this: your Savior knows, just like he knew that woman that day on the road. He knows your wrestle. He knows what you're trying to figure out. And he took that wrestle to the garden. He took your worries, your long worry list. He took your disappointments, your hurts, your rejections, your fears, your doubts. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of our doubts. And so I would like to say to you that your faith is growing in those disappointments. Your faith is growing in the questions you keep asking about church history, church policy, or the myriad of other questions that we can face every day. You are becoming a faith friend to people in the future because you're in that fight to figure it out right now. So I invite you to keep showing up. Keep showing up on the road, even if it looks crowded, even if you think God can't see you in the crowd, He can see you. He knows you, He loves you, and He has your miracle right on schedule. Have a great day, and I send you my love and my light, and I'll see you again here on this brand new series on Onward Productions, Figuring It Out, and we'll figure it out together. I'm Ganel-Lyn. We'll see you soon.